Welcome everyone to our current build of Emoto. This is the main menu. We have a few implemented options and the player is able to scroll through them horizontally. For example, this is the control scheme page. As a short disclaimer, most of the models you will see in this demo are placeholders, unfinished or from an asset pack. With this in mind, we can start the actual game. Emoto is played from a first-person perspective. The player is able to freely look around and walk in the four basic directions with the WASD keys. Holding the F key will take out the player's active item, or the hands if none are selected. Pressing Ctrl makes the player character crouch, and spacebar will make them jump.
Pressing Tab opens the player's inventory. Currently there are no items inside of it. However, if we turn around we can see one of the collectibles. This is the heart, also known as the Love at First Sight collectible. Getting close enough to it will trigger a prompt, and then holding F will collect the item. Now we can see that something has appeared in the inventory. A picture of the item is supposed to be in the box, but clicking on it will highlight it, and the item's name along with the description will show up on the right.
The player's goal is to collect all of the emotion and memory items around the level. Some of these will be hidden, while others will be in more obvious spots, maybe guarded by enemies. We'll get to them later. Here in this room, the player can find the pendant item. Interacting with it, just like in the case of the heart, will collect the item, and the player can now find it in their inventory. Since this is an active item, the player can click on the top right checkbox to equip it. Holding F will now take out the selected item instead of the hands.
Exploring the levels, however, is not without risk. At any point, the player can encounter one of the monsters, and, if not careful, this will lead to an early game over. The monster that we just encountered was Anxiety. It crawls along the walls and detects the player based on sight and hearing. When aggroed, it will approach the player, charge up and then pounce on them. If the player is staring directly at Anxiety while discharging, it will not move. This would normally allow the player to get away safely, but only if Anxiety is the only monster around. Nobody really knows what will happen to the player if it's so focused on a single monster though. The other enemy from the previous clip is the blind monster Red. It will only detect the player based on noise. Here, the player gets close enough that they are heard and the monster aggroes on them. After around 1 second, it will start charging towards the player at high speed. Though, if the player manages to get far away enough, such that they are not heard anymore, the monster will go back to patrolling. And this is exactly what happens here. They will not always get lucky with it, however.
The final monster we have to showcase is Sadness. The player can tell that this monster is nearby since it spawns puddles of tears around it. It is slow, and after aggro it will actively spawn puddles around the player as they are getting away. The effect of entering these puddles is decreasing the player's speed by 50%. While not a huge threat by itself, in synergy with the other monsters, the effect of the puddles can prove to be an issue. The pendant item that we picked up earlier has the effect of temporarily negating the slowdown of the puddles. On using the item, done by pressing the left mouse button when it is out, a blue filter will appear on the screen and the aforementioned effect will take place. And that brings us to the end of this demo. We hope that what we showed here today was enough to pique your interest for the vertical slice, because we are definitely excited to bring you more. Take care.